If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain how I found out about this. It's free. It's on your app store. There's a creation tool that allows you to record and edit your podcast right now from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. Please, I urge you, don't waste another minute. I wasted 3 years. I attended all kinds of events to learn all the steps. I was so confused, and it was right here. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Do it now. So what does a woman who has everything want to do besides meditate and read books? I'm Sabah Fakhoury for the Heart and Home podcast. Today, we start our series at looking at the bombshell Oprah interview that was conducted and run last Sunday, March 7, 2021 on CBS, who paid $7 million for it. 17 million viewers tuned in live to watch it. Then the next day, it aired on ITV in Britain, and it is available to watch online, and it is everywhere.
I called you either February or March 2018 before the wedding, asking, would you please give me an interview? And you said, I'm sorry, it's not the right time. And finally, we get to sit down and have this conversation.
Well, I remember that conversation very well. I wasn't even allowed to have that conversation with you personally, right? There had to be people from the comments sitting there around. Everything was...
There were other people in the room when I was having that conversation. You turned me down nicely and said, perhaps there will be another time when there's the right time. What is right about this time?
Well, so many things that we're on the other side of a lot of life experience that's happened, and also that we have the ability to make our own choices in a way that I couldn't have said yes to you then. That wasn't my choice to make. So as an adult who lived a really independent life, to then go into this construct that is different than I think what people imagine it to be, it's really liberating to be able to have the right and the privilege in some ways to be able to say yes. I'm
and to
I'm
say
ready
it
to
for
talk.
yourself.
To say it for
and
yourself.
not to have to consult with anybody at this point.
Yeah, to be able to just make a choice on your own and just be able to speak for yourself.
You came in as an American. You came in as an actress. You came in as a divorcee. You came in as an independent woman. You came in as the first mixed race person to marry into the family. And yours was a different story. And did that concern you in being able to fit in? Did you think about that at all?
Well, I thought about it because they made me think about it. Right? But I think at the same time now, upon reflection, thank God all of those things were true. I've always been outspoken, especially about women's rights. I mean, that's the sad irony of the last 4 years, is I've advocated for so long for women to use their voice. And then I was silent.
Were you silent or were you silenced?
The latter.
In her round, silver, Harry Potter-like glasses, Oprah, sitting outside and dressed casually, directing her subject to respond to questions she had crafted. Questions she thinks that would interest viewers. The questions ranged from Meghan meeting Her Majesty the Queen and learning how to curtsy to the story in the tabloids that came out 6 months after her wedding that she had made Kate cry, when in fact we learn it was a reverse of what really happened. And a peek into the family dynamics within the royal family. We're talking about a rare glimpse into a 1,200-year-old institution. I don't know if this is kind of like when Dorothy looks behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz and finds out who the real wizard is. It is a fairy tale for those of us on the outside. Whether you care or not, peeking inside people's lives of what goes on behind closed doors. Intriguing, prying, looking through the eyes of a newcomer into one of the most prestigious families in the world. But to dig up and dish out dirt, that's a lot to do when you escape that gilded cage. So what does Oprah want the viewer to learn from this interview? Perhaps Oprah's intention was to present to the American public, which is currently deeply divided along racial lines due to a history of racism and police brutality, that racism exists in a white world. And as two Black women together, they want to speak out and tell the world that you need to see things from their world. They want to turn the tables and take control of the narrative. More importantly, they want to speak for themselves and tell their own story. After all, as Meghan puts it so succinctly, it's about stories, the stories that you tell yourself, but also about stories that others tell about you. So should they have set the record straight? Should they have spoken out? That's for you to decide. Like the Queen, Oprah, Meghan Markle, and Prince Harry have extensive training in speaking in public. Meghan as an American actress of the USA cable network hit series Suits, and Prince Harry as a member of The Crown. Whatever the intent of the messengers, a lot of the message was lost in the week after the interview aired because of the amount of noise created by the media putting their spin on the event. Once Oprah appeared live on CBS this morning, the day after the Sunday evening primetime interview aired, she lost control of the narrative. Basically, all hell broke loose with the revelation and unsubstantiated claim of a person within the royal family being racist because they wondered what Meghan and Harry's baby skin color would look like. And Oprah was shocked, and the camera cut away to her saying a soft and slow voice, "What?" Well, to a person of color, that pushes their buttons. To a white person, that seems normal curiosity. Is it a big deal? Well, to African Americans, it is. And viewers have to see it through the storyteller's own eyes. Thus, the tabloids and the media who ran with the headline that claimed the royal family is racist blew out of proportion several private conversations between Prince Harry and a member of his family. Careful to clarify that it was not with his grandmother, the Queen, nor with his grandfather, Prince Philip. who lay in hospital. So then everybody waited for the response from across the pond after bombs were fired at the monarchy. The Queen was the first to release a statement that things would be dealt with privately within their family. The Queen's son, Prince Charles, ignored the press and kept quiet when asked about the racism charge. Perhaps he thought it was just not worthy of a response to what most people would consider as garbage. But the Queen's grandson, Prince William, broke with tradition and responded during a public appearance. I would venture to guess that the rift between the brothers, as reported in the tabloids, led William to feel he had to defend himself and his family. It was a defensive response that a person who felt they were innocent would think, I cannot remain silent and let people think the wrong idea. Treat fire with fire. And that's why it's so important for people to speak for themselves instead of letting others speak for you. But there's a delicate balance between the relationship of the monarchy and the royal press that covers them. In tomorrow's Heart and Home episode, I will cover the reaction of the press, what happened, and here's a preview of what really is going on behind the scenes. Have a great day.
Clear a number of times on this program, and I understand that you've got a personal relationship with Meghan Markle, or had one, and she cut you off. She's entitled to cut you off. Has she said anything about you since she cut you off? I don't think she has, but yet you continue to trash her.
Okay, I'm done with this.
No.
Sorry, no. Sorry.
Do you know what? That's pathetic.
You can trash me, mate, but not my own.
No.
See you later.
I'm being...
Sorry, can't
This
do
is
this.
absolutely diabolical.